Okay, I'm just gonna go over those homework problems and give you a few more. Your quiz on this will be Wednesday. I will Skype you guys tomorrow. Go over any last questions, and we'll probably start 4.2 tomorrow also. So here's 4.1, number 4. Hopefully this was more successful. Got it like that. Alright, so here we go. These are all just derivatives. Alright, chain rule. Do the derivative of the outside, so derivative of tangent is secant squared. That stuff stays inside. And then you multiply by the derivative of the inside. Looks like in there it's just like a polynomial. It's just, so we're just going to do power rule. Derivative of 2x is just 2. Derivative of x to the third would be 3x squared. And we're done. So we have 2 minus 3x squared times the secant squared of 2x minus x to the third. Can't really do much with that. You could distribute that in there, but you should be able to see that nothing's really going to happen. It's not going to ever get any simpler. That's all on that one. 7. Let's see, where is it? Cosine of the sine of x. It's kind of funny. Okay, just do the derivative of the outside. Derivative of cosine is negative sine, so I have negative sine. The stuff in the parentheses stays in there. Times the derivative of the inside, so right there, the sine of x. Derivative of that is just cosine of x. So you have negative sine of the sine of x times cosine of x. And there's nothing you can do with that. That's it. I guess you could write cosine of x, and if you write that in front, it'll look like negative. I don't know. Something about, just leave it like that. 13, where is it? Y equals, got that. Okay, so you could do 1 over that squared and do quotient rule, but this is actually less work with the negative power, so hopefully you just left it like that. Derivative of the outside, so you're going to have negative 2, leave the stuff in the inside. Hopefully you didn't change that to a 1, because remember you got to subtract 1 from the power, so that'll become negative third power. Done the outside, now the inside. X plus square root of x. I'm going to go ahead and rewrite that as x plus x to the 1/2. So now I can do the derivative of that. Derivative of x is just 1. Derivative of x to the 1/2, bring it down, so 1/2 x to the negative 1/2, because you got to subtract 1 from the power. Alright, just power rule. And then we should just rewrite it with no negative exponents. So that's negative third power, so I'm going to move that down below the negative, so I'm going to have negative 2 over x plus the square root of x to the third. Well, and then it was times this, so I guess I could put it all in parentheses, or just go like that. 1 plus, let's see, the x to the negative 1/2 is going to move to the bottom, so I'm going to have 1 over, so like 1/2, there's 1/2. This was on top, it moves to the bottom. So I can write it like that, or you can put square root of x to be consistent. And that's about it. I guess you could write this up here. You could write it all as one. That would be a good answer. I would take that. Or if you kept going, you're multiplying. This is a fraction times a fraction, so you'd have negative 2. You multiply the negative 2 times this, you'd have negative 2 minus 2 over 2 root x all over x plus the square root of, oops, x to the third. That would work also. I don't know. You could just stop right there. Because again, nothing happens. It doesn't get any simpler. Get a common denominator, subtract them, screw it. Just leave it. And let's do one more, 20. I think this was the longest one. Oh, this stupid pen. Sorry for the blackout here. Had to fix the pen. Now I'm writing the problem. There we go. It's got an x on top, x on bottom. We're going to have to do quotient rule. A square root, so we're going to change it to 1 plus x squared to the 1/2 power. Now we'll do quotient rule. So, hello, the bottom. We got 1 plus x squared to the 1/2 times derivative of the top. Derivative of x is just 1 minus the top times the derivative of the bottom. Perhaps I should come back, because that's, we're going to need to do chain rule, right? We got stuff inside, an x inside, and we got a power on the outside. We're going to have to do chain rule, so I need derivative of the bottom. And then on bottom I got low squared, so this thing's squared. Well, anything to the 1/2 power squared is just going to give me that same thing, right? So I got to do the derivative of this. Just a little chain rule. Drop it down 1/2, 1 plus x squared to the negative 1/2. There's the derivative of the outside. Derivative of the inside. Derivative of 1 is 0, so it's 2x. Simplify this, 2x times 1/2 is just x. So if x times 1 plus x squared to the negative 1/2. And now we should just rewrite some stuff. Now it's just pre-calc. And this one, there is a lot of stuff you can do here. So the top, we just have square root of 1 plus x squared. And this one, we got x times x, so minus x squared. Well, negative 1/2 power, so that's going to be over 1 plus x squared. Oops, the square root of that. So that looks kind of funky. Let's get a common denominator and combine those. The reason I'm going to do it is because I can see that I may be able to cancel this bottom part with something up here if I move forward. I didn't do that up here because I had x plus square root of x to the third, and nothing even looked like it was going to happen, so I just left it. Like I said before, it's all about predicting the future. So you have to be yeah, whatever. Anyway, so look ahead. Yeah, I can see that there's some good action here. We might get something to cancel out. So on top, common denominator would be the square root of 1 plus x squared. Right? Because that has 1. That's just 1 plus x squared, or square root of 1 plus. So this one on top, I got to multiply by the square root of 1 plus x squared. So if I multiply square root times square root, I just have 1 plus x squared. This one already had the common denominator, so I'm going to have minus x squared. And this thing is still on bottom. Well, now on top, you see we got x squared minus x squared is 0. So now I have 1 over the square root of 1 plus x squared. I'm having trouble writing. All over, and I still have that 1 plus x squared on the bottom. So we got a fraction on top. Let's flip and multiply. So that would be 1 over the square root of 1 plus x squared times, that's just that, so 1 over 1 plus x squared. Well, so I have 1 plus x squared now times the square root of 1 plus x squared. Well, we got to remember that's just 1 plus x squared to the 1/2 times that. Add the powers. you get 1 plus x squared to the 3 halves, and on top you just have 1. So that did get simplified down. Okay, so use the rest of the class, just do more. Here are the quiz-like problems. You've already done 1 or 2 of them, I think. Number 4, which we just did, there's one just like it on the quiz. And then 6, 18, 19, and 23. Like I said, tomorrow I'll call you guys and we can go over any of this you want. Any final questions before your quiz, which will be on Wednesday. And then also tomorrow we might start the next section, 4.2, and we'll discuss Christmas break plans. I'm doing quotes because you're still going to have a lot of work to do over break, videos to watch. We might meet, I don't know, we'll talk about it tomorrow. See you then.